opportunity for him to work with Biggie.
There's a lot of talk about AI. We know how the feelings of violating certain things, but let me tell you something. I gotta share something I've been working on because I always wanted to do this, and I never got a chance to. I always wanted to work with Big, and I never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play!
Again, the real motivation behind all of this. Do you know how hard it is to push an artist? Artists have opinions and want to do things their own way, when we, the executives and the producers, just want them to be quiet and do whatever we tell them to.
Now check this out.
That are just starting to try to figure things out. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. We can sit up here and say, I am not threatened by AI. Because we already make money doing it. We've already built ourselves in this industry doing this. But what about them?
Thank you.
It doesn't affect me. And if it doesn't affect us in this chat room right now, what about being a voice for them? That's all I'm saying. So you know what? Instead of saying, hey, go practice that guitar, go learn how to prompt. I don't want to be that person. And I don't want to be here saying, I already made my millions of dollars. So everybody else can figure it out. Go prompt. Go be an excellent prompter. Music still needs to live on, and it's people like you and me that need to say, we've got to figure out a fair way to do this. That is all I'm saying. And we've got to honor the hard work, the work ethic, the creativity, the love, the soul, all of the things that create music and why we're here today.
Preach.
Do not let that disappear and regulate it or find a way to make it fair. That's all I'm saying.
This was from legendary music producer TIMBALAND'S live on TikTok.
Wow, this has gotten so big. I mean, everybody knows about it by now, I guess. You probably heard, of course, here.
He launched an AI music company
right?
with his first AI artist named Tata.
Now, Tata's his first artist. You know, we get that idea. And having an artist, you gotta have one. But to make an AI artist, and everyone's upset. And there's so many sides to it of training these AI systems to listen to his beats and come up with an idea for him to use. And then people thinking they're using their beats or some other sound. Now look, everything that's been done as far as musically has been sent to AI already. It already knows what jazz is, chord structure, classical music, what chord structure is about that. I mean, it's already in all the computer systems in reality. And of course, he's trying to train it to do something he wants to do. Now, obviously this is kind of like wild, but if I were to do that or you were to do that, it would be nothing. Because Timbaland's doing it, it's something bigger than that. And what's really going on here is the change of the industry, and something that probably no one's really talking about is that there are a lot of people in Asia that have this group called, these K-pop groups that are everywhere throughout Asia. And they're doing some sort of, imitation of what it was black music, and doing hip hop, and they're doing dance music. And yeah, it's cool. And they're getting big. But people like Timbaland don't have access to those kind of people in Korea to be able to have a chance to work with those artists. And this would be a great idea for him to actually have Tata, who looks like a K-pop artist, as you can see her right there, right? Looks like she's all K-pop. And so he's trying to communicate to the Asian community probably, and trying to get an idea if he does something that works, he can probably work with other K-pop artists or artists in J-pop in Japan or in China. So it's becoming a big thing for, I believe, for a lot of these other producers in America to work with these Asian producers, because none of them actually do. And none of the rap guys do. I mean, I know a lot of guys who make beats up and who've got machines and who are producers in America, but they're not big in Asia. None of them. And they don't even come out to Asia to try and work anyway. They think America is the training ground and the best place to do it in. Yeah, it kind of is. But here in Asia, it's a huge market. Like 1/3 of the world lives out here in Asia. There are billions of people between China, Indonesia, and some other parts of Asia. There's roughly 3 billion people. That's a lot of people, more than there is in America and Canada and the Americas. And so this is a huge market. Now also, to do an AI thing and to have an AI artist, I know it seems like it's crazy, right? But it's the same thing with a regular artist. If this artist gets out there and becomes successful, what happens is that he can sell other items. Like if I have a big artist, I can get them with Gucci. We can get them with McDonald's. You can get them with Wendy's, Clothesline. I can get them with maybe Costco, you know what I mean? You're gonna have an artist that you can put in any situation, anywhere in the world, and work with an advertising agency. Now, here in Japan, they have groups called J-pop groups. There's Johnny groups. And so what happens is a bunch of these boy bands they put together, right? And they go out and they do their thing, but it's all a marketing ploy. These guys have very little talent. They have to look good, and they have to be able to go out and do their thing on a show, right? And dance, I'll do a lot of dance steps. But the big thing for them is that they're backed by these companies that sell shoes, clothes, going to Starbucks, you know. There are all these commercials, and their ability to communicate with a younger audience is because that audience likes the group, they're their age, and they're able to communicate with them. What are we doing? What I do? They say, oh, we're going here, we're going there, we're going to go here to hang out. And so it's a communication that these companies don't get when they have an artist. Now, yeah, Timbaland doing a regular artist, it's been done. But here's the thing, you can do it. Suppose you're making a track and you want to put something out and it becomes popular, let's say, somewhere on the internet. And then all of a sudden your AI artist, someone calls you up, I want you to put some Gucci on that artist. Wait a minute, you can wear a Gucci handbag. These girls can do this, can do that. And they're just an AI artist, but they're selling and marketing material like any other artist does. And to have an artist today that you can talk to and all the stuff, they're saying, well, look, the problem is that artists keep doing what they want to do. And when they sign them, they have a problem, let's say, with artists trying to do something and they don't want to do that. And the artist says, no, I want to do that. Well, it's part of signing it. There's a business. But then again, it's worth it to have something you can control. You control the product. An artist generally is a product like ketchup or whatever it is. When they go on stage, they do things. When they go to the Oscars, somebody gives them a dress to put on. That dress is for them to showcase the dress or the jewelry, and they get paid for that. It's the same thing with an AI artist, except the AI is human. And so you must train the AI to do something, and you must train the human to do something. So in reality here, this is actually a good idea because you're going to be able to get out there. Look, no one's making royalties like they made when I first started the business. When I was in the business, you did records and you got paid a royalty for the records being played in the radio, selling records, and then it being on TV or in a movie, you made some pretty good money. But today it's all streams. So artists and producers aren't making much money as they used to make. And this is a way to get back that money to make even more money because look, if you can get big in Asia, you are king of the world. You just don't know. You look up and see groups like Blackpink, they got billions of views, like close to 100 billion views. Because those views in YouTube pile up. See, in America, you can get those, you get millions and millions of views, but when you've got 3 billion people, within the Asian world, wow, and you can get views with them, that's kind of awesome. And that blows up everything else where you go, okay, we're gonna have American artists out there making beats for these Asian artists and trying to get in that community, in that world. Yeah, it's a different world, but if you notice their music is similar to being the same, particularly these Korean hip hop groups or the Japanese hip hop groups. Have you heard a Chinese hip hop group? A lot of guys arguing are not over here. I'm in Japan, in Tokyo, Japan, and this is a wide open market. They're doing it. They've got MPCs, they got machines, they got Pro Tools, they got Logic. They've been listening to black hip hop for years. And these kids have gotten older and now they're building their own world of music in Japan, in Korea, in China, even Vietnam starting to get there. This is spreading everywhere. And this artist looks Asian. And he's heading into a marketing area that is huge. Now, yeah, they're training those models, they say. Look, in reality, music is just 13 freaking notes. You got 13 notes, and then, okay, we got these combinations of keys, right? And then we got a combination of minor, major, Lydian. You got a whole bunch of ideas of what's going on here about music. Well, that's already inside of all the computer systems. They have been doing this for years. I got one of my clients, Marcellus, and his crew put together a video, and they told it what to do. They put together a video and they told AI what to do. They prompted, it came out, it sounded pretty good. It wasn't like really all that, but it was just a fake idea of telling you, look, I want you to sound like this. I want you to be a kind of hip hop, new neo soul artist. And it came out and it was pretty good. So whatever we're doing out here, they're listening to it constantly. And music does change everything. Look, years ago, many, many years ago, the turn of the 20th century, music was changing. And Thomas Edison comes out with this record player. And some of the biggest artists in the world at that time was like Jascha Heifetz, was this violinist, this smoking violinist, this Jewish violinist who was huge, great classical player. And there was also Gilbert and Sullivan, which you've probably all heard about, or maybe not, which is like these, musicals. And they were big. They were selling biggest records. But when Louis Armstrong came out, they didn't like having black artists in the music business. And a lot of blacks during that time, and this is somewhere, maybe 45 years after the Civil War, and blacks were free, not slaves anymore. They weren't getting like real jobs. They were just traveling to just live. And no one wanted to have them work and do anything but just BS jobs. And so even when they were in England or around the world, a lot of blacks were in zoos, right? I wouldn't say a whole bunch, but these are kind of being zoos, and they're talking about them in zoos or carnival acts. Ooh, they're black, and they got the hair like this, and this is fat, and all that kind of stuff. And then Louis Armstrong comes out on the scene, and no one wanted to have it. And he was a major star. He was a superstar in his year and time. And it's continued on. Blacks have made music that's changed the planet. You figure there had been no more than 10 million blacks within the United States, maybe more than that. But they made new music that controlled the entire world as far as music, clothing, the way they drank, people hanging out. Those whole Roaring '20s was all the idea from black music and the jazz scene and how it affected the entire planet. And so the AI is another way that this is something nobody wants. They're saying, okay, we don't want to go through all this stuff with AI. But really, if I was doing this, no one would know, no one would care. And if it got big, you wouldn't care because you wouldn't know. You'd say, oh, that's AI, I don't care. And if it became a hit, I don't care. But what would happen would be that I'd have the ability to communicate with other companies, and they would say, okay, you know something? We want to use your AI model, and we want you to start making stuff for like selling NPCs, or we'll make an artist to sell, 7-Eleven. I'll have an AI artist do something in 7-Eleven. They'll be wearing some Gucci clothes. They'll be smoking Marlboros. You get my point? You can do anything. And in this world, it'll make up for the money a lot of these producers and artists aren't making from records, from radio, because everything's streaming. It's a new avenue coming up. Now, of course, no one's going to like it. That means it's going to get bigger. It's the essential thing that, look, people like money.